Hey guys, this video is going to be a tutorial on how to draw a realistic eye in color. I will link the reference photo in the description box if you want to use the same, and if you don't have all of these same materials as I do, that's okay. Just use what you have and make the best of it. And when I first filmed this video, this setting on my camera was too bright, so you couldn't see when I was drawing the outlines, so I redid it, and I hope you can see what I'm doing now. So what you need to do first is, of course, to draw the outlines and look at the photo you're using and see like what shape it is and draw what you see. Basically, like when I draw realistically, I just draw what I see, but eyes are usually in kind of like an almond shape. Some eyes are rounder and some are thinner, and yeah, basically draw an eye shape. You could measure out everything if you want to, and also don't forget to draw a waterline. I can't say waterline, okay, yes, and because a lot of people seem to forget it, and it actually makes it look so much more realistic because we have water lines, okay? So yeah, and then you're going to draw the iris, and the iris is usually not completely round because the eyelid and like the under eyelid, I don't know what it's called, but it's covering a little bit of the circle. Next, you're going to draw the eyelid or like the crease, and you really need to look on how the crease kind of looks, because some creases, I guess, are more hooded and some are more like rounded, if you know what I mean. So yeah, and you need to see with your own eye how far away it's going to be from the actual eye. Next, you're going to define the eyeball by drawing like some lines by the crease of the eye, because there is like flesh there. Next, you're going to measure out how far away from the eyelid the eyebrow is going to be, and then just, you know, roughly sketch it a little bit. You don't need to define them a lot because you only need like a guideline to when you're going to actually color the drawing. To begin coloring, I'm first going to use a white pan pastel color, and I'm just going to use it kind of as a foundation, and I'm only going to use it where I'm actually going to apply pan pastels, because for some parts of the drawing I am going to apply Promarkers, and I don't want to have the pan pastels like underneath the Promarkers. I don't think that would be really good, and the reason to why I'm going to use both pastels and Promarkers is because I don't have a lot of pastel colors. I only have like 4. Next, I will be applying kind of like a beige light skin color to the places where there is skin, basically. And applying pan pastels is really not that hard, so that's why I'm speeding it up a little bit, because I need to speed up some parts of the video, because without speeding it up it's going to be 3.5 hours long, and that's not going to work. So to those people that complain when I speed up my videos, you don't know what it's like to make videos and edit them, because it's not that easy. And here I'm using the white pastel again just to add some highlights, basically. And now I'm going to use a dark brown pastel and start shading a little bit. And this color in particular is really dark, so you don't want to add too much right away. It's better to add a little bit and then add more as you go. And you basically just need to look at the reference photo and see where you need to add, you know, more shadows and stuff. And here I'm using the light beige color and just, you know, making everything look more soft because it looks a little bit patchy right now. But if you use this on top of the darker one, it blends everything together better. And then going back with the dark brown and adding more shadows. And here I'm adding more definition to the wrinkles under the eye by adding shadows and also blending it out a little bit with the light beige, like blending out the dark brown with the beige. So whenever you're using a darker shade, it's always nice to use the lighter shade and blend it out because it just makes everything look more smooth. And here I'm using a kneaded eraser to highlight a few places where I think it needs some highlights. Basically, as I already mentioned, just look at the reference photo in order to see exactly where you need to highlight and shadow, basically. Because when I draw realistically, I just draw what I see and pay attention to the reference photo and really look and try to replicate it on paper. Okay, so now I'm going to use some light pink Promarkers in order to draw, you know, the flesh in the inner corner of the eye. Then I'm using a light blue and a light gray Promarker to draw the foundation of the iris, basically. I say basically way too much, but it's such a good word. Okay, so now I'm going to use a few shades of gray in order to create shadows in the eyeball. I'm also using a light blue pencil right around the iris because when I was looking at the reference photo, I thought I saw some blue shades, and you need to pay attention and draw what you see, because that's one of the most important things about drawing realistically. Sometimes the shadows from the lashes are reflecting on the eyeball, so don't forget to draw them as well. And now we need to shade the inner corner flesh. That's a weird name, but we're using it now. Okay, so usually shades of pink and reddish brown would work. Just be careful to not make it too intense, because if you do, the eyes may look red, so you could always tone it down a little bit by using a color that matches the skin color. You could also add some brown pencil to intensify the shadows. Then you could take a white pencil and highlight a little bit. And then I'm going to use a white gel pen to intensify the highlight. Next, we're going to start coloring the iris, and pay attention to what shades you see in the reference photo. So I saw some green, yellow, brown, blue, and gray mostly. First, I'm drawing very lightly and adding some green to the places where I see that there is green. Then I'm doing the exact same thing with a yellow pencil. Then I'm doing the same thing with a warm brown pencil, and still keep in mind to draw lightly. We add more color later, but at first we draw lightly, okay? And depending on your reference photo, the iris may not be very detailed. In this photo it was, however, so if you look at any eye basically, you can see that the iris is kind of stringy. I don't have any better way to describe it, but I hope you understand what I mean. So I am drawing a few lines from the outer part of the iris towards the center, and I'm also trying to replicate the pattern that I see in the reference photo and drawing the iris accordingly and using the colors in the right place. I mean, just look at the reference photo and you know what to do. Next, I am going to begin using colored pencils on the skin area, and I can write in the description box what colors I'm using because I know someone will ask me. And as usual, remember to not draw very harsh in the beginning. You want to draw lightly and build up the color. Actually, my first tutorial on how to draw a realistic eye, that was in graphite, but if you feel like it's hard to follow anything in this tutorial, you should watch the other tutorial because that will explain a lot of basic stuff. I'm not going into like detailed steps here. I'm just trying to, you know, show how to do the same thing but in color. You could also create some texture in the skin to make it more realistic by kind of drawing like a pattern. I don't do this perfectly like exactly in the reference photo, but I just randomly add some, you know, shadows and stuff just to make it look like textured skin, I guess. Don't have a good way to explain it really, but yeah. Try your best to replicate the shadows that you see in the reference photo and use a variety of different shades. Don't use just one shade or two shades, because I find that when you use more shades, it kind of looks more realistic in a way. I mean, of course, it could look realistic if you use only two shades or whatever, but if you use like different shades, it just looks more realistic because, you know, if you would zoom in on an actual photo, there are a lot of pixels and stuff, and they are in so many different colors. And again, I'm trying to draw, you know, some texture to the skin by adding some random lines and trying to create a pattern. There is no better way for me to explain this part other than just look at the reference photo and draw the pattern that you see, I guess, if that makes any sense, because I don't know how to explain it any other way. And here I'm adding some more shadows to the under eye wrinkles, bags, I don't know what to call them. Also, don't forget to draw shadows from the lashes. A lot of people seem to forget about this, but it actually makes a huge difference on the realism scale, or whatever you're supposed to call it. Now I'm going to use a blender pencil in order to blend all of the colors together, and this will also make everything look smoother and you know, the texture from the pencil to disappear, which I really like. If you don't own this, buy it. I will write everything in the description box, what it's called and stuff. And here I decided to intensify the shadows from the lashes, and you can really see the difference already. Although I haven't drawn the lashes yet, you can still see that it creates something really cool, I guess. I don't know. Okay. And here I'm using the white gel pen again in order to create some more texture, and I'm actually not wiping it away, I'm kind of tapping on the paper because I don't want the color to be as intense as I wanted it to be, you know, on the inner corner flesh, because I don't want it to shine a lot. I just want to create the appearance of pores, kind of. And but like, if the person you're drawing is wearing some glittery eyeshadow, this is also really great in order to make everything shine. So yeah. Now I'm adding a little bit of the dark brown pastel color to use as a foundation for the eyebrow. Now carefully draw some strokes. You should kind of lift the pencil at the end of the stroke, and I'm using a dark brown. I think I used a light brown as well, and a black pencil for the eyebrow. If you want a more detailed explanation on how to draw an eyebrow, you should go ahead and watch my previous eye tutorial. I will link it in the description box. I used a black pencil to define the hair strokes a little bit better. Also, don't forget to pay attention in what direction the hair is growing when you're drawing the hair strokes. I'm also using a white pencil to draw some highlights on the eyebrow hairs. Time to draw the lashes. Use the black pencil and draw like a curve, and at the end of the stroke you want to lift the pencil just as you did with the eyebrow hairs. So just you know, draw, it's going to be a little bit curved right by the eye, and then it's going to go in a line up. It's really hard to explain in words. I'm also going to use a black marker just to define the lashes a little bit more. On the bottom lashes, you are doing the exact same thing, but it's going to be a slight curve downwards instead of upwards. And eyelashes don't always grow in perfect lines, they sometimes overlap each other, especially bottom lashes. So that's where I'm drawing right here. It almost looks like a triangle. Then I'm using the white gel pen again to add some more highlights. And you're basically just gonna finish drawing the lashes and adjust anything you feel like you need to adjust, and that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. I really hope it was helpful. So yeah, I don't know when I will post my next video because at this moment I'm really busy with school and work, but I'm trying to do my best and draw whenever I got the chance. But once again, thank you so much for watching and have a nice day, and bye.